Hello everyone, this is Melissa and Crafty Max. This is a wreath kit tutorial for recipe number 1. For those of you who have purchased a kit from me, or even if you didn't, if you have the same amount of ribbons, mesh, etc., you will be able to use my recipe 1 to make a gorgeous completed wreath. Now I'm going to go ahead and bring you down to my workstation so that you can see what all would be in either a kit that you purchased from me for recipe number 1, or if you have these on hand and you can go ahead and make it. Now, in recipe number 1, you will have at least 3 ribbons, if not 4. Most of the time it'll be 3 ribbons, and it doesn't matter if it's a Valentine's Day ribbon or a spring summer ribbon, Christmas ribbon, Halloween ribbon. You can use recipe number 1, because if you have 3 rolls of ribbon, 2 2.5 inch, 1 1.5 inch, you will also have 3 rolls of 10-inch mesh. You will also have 21-inch mesh, 1 roll of 21-inch mesh. You will also have either something like this, which is the expandable mesh, or you could have another roll of 10-inch mesh. So you could have, for recipe number 1, you could have 4 rolls of 10-inch, 1 roll of 21-inch. This one I'm using in lieu of the 1 roll of 10-inch mesh, okay? So now you have that. You will have also a 15 or 16-inch round wreath form that has 8 ties on the top, 10 ties on the bottom. And also in my kits, or if you have it on hand, if you didn't purchase one of those, you can also use tubing, and sometimes I will even have embellishments in the kit for recipe number 1. Now I'm going to go ahead and get my mesh cut up for my ribbons, or my mesh cut up for my curls, and then go ahead and cut up my ribbons, but I will go over those measurements. Let me go ahead and go over those measurements here at the beginning. For the curls, you will cut your mesh up at 10 inches, and you will need 18 pieces each. You'll need 18 of the white, 18 of the black, or 18 of the yellow, or whatever you have. If you have pink, purple, and gray, you will cut all 3 of those up at 10 inches, okay? Now, and you'll need 18 each, because I put curls in every tie, a curl bundle in every tie, and there's 18 ties on that wreath form. So cut them up at 10 inches. Now this is going to be served as an overlay. If I had another 10-inch mesh here, it would be the overlay, which I will show you how to do that. Now your ribbons. For the funky bow ribbon, and in my kits, I put a wreath kit instruction sheet, and it will tell you which ribbon to use for your funky bow ribbon. In this case, it's the B ribbon. This is 2.5 inch ribbon, and you will cut it at 24 inches. 24 inches for the funky bow ribbon, okay? Now for the tails, you will have another 2.5 inch and a 1.5 inch. Those are cut at 13 inches. And you will need 9 each. 13 inches, and you'll need 9 each. You'll need 9 each of the funky bow ribbon cut at 24. These are cut at 13 inches, and you'll need 9 each of those as well. Now I think that's pretty much it for now, so let me go ahead and get this cut up, and I'll be right back, guys. Hey there, one thing I did want to mention too, on recipe number 1, you will also have a sign, and it is usually a 11 3/4 inch round sign, or you may even have an 8.5 by 12 sign. So I wanted to let you know that as well. So I'm getting ready to do poofs, and I'll be right back. Okay friends, the next step is I'm going to do 12-inch poofs on the top, 12-inch poofs on the bottom with the 21-inch mesh. Now remember, it doesn't matter if you're doing a Christmas wreath or a Valentine's Day wreath, a bee wreath that I'm doing like right now. It doesn't matter. As long as you have recipe number 1, you'll be able to follow this tutorial, okay? Now I'm just going to gather the mesh here on the end, and I'm going to make sure my ends are turned under, create that natural poof. Find a little place here on my work wreath form where I have a tie that's kind of like below it. I'm going to add that mesh right between those 2 ties. I'm going to take a zip tie it in. Now I always say this is just something that I do. Not everybody does this. It's just my preference. I like to zip tie that mesh right into that tie. One thing, you know, as y'all know, I have arthritis in my hands, and this just helps me out a little bit. And it really doesn't take that long to do that. I cut off that excess. Now, if I'm going a little bit too quick with this here, this is basically to show you what you're supposed to do with the 5 rolls of mesh and different things like that in your kit. Now, you can also go and watch my 10 steps on how to make a Deco Poly Mesh Wreath on my YouTube channel, Crafty Max LLC. Now here I'm measuring 12 inches, and I'm doing 12-inch poofs. Yes, but if you need to watch like just a step on how to create these poofs, you can go over to my YouTube channel, check out the 10 steps on how to make a Deco Poly Mesh Wreath, and just watch the step. I think this is step 1 or step 2 for the poofs, but you can watch whichever ones you want over there, friends. Now, once again, I'm over here measuring 12 inches to create those 12-inch poofs, okay? I'm just kind of putting my hand in there a little bit, poofing it up, and just tying it off with that tie, okay? And I kind of tie it twice, all right? Let me do this one more time. I'm kind of gathering it over here with my hand, measuring 12 inches, okay? Remember, there's 8 ties on the top, 10 ties on the bottom. 8 on top, 10 on the bottom. This is a 15-inch round work wreath form. All right, now friends, that is how you do your poofs. I'm going to go ahead and finish the rest of the poofs, and then I'll come back when I get ready to add those gorgeous curls. And look, guys, we have some gorgeous curls, but I will show you how to add those and also to make them. All right, be right back. Okay, friends, now as you see, we've got the 12-inch poofs on the top, the 12-inch poofs on the bottom. Now the next thing we're going to do, we're going to add the overlay. Now, whether you have a 10-inch mesh to go over top of your poofs, or you have like an expandable mesh, it's the same thing. You'll do it the same way. So basically all I'm going to do is gather it like that at the end. I'm going to find a place on my work wreath form that has a tie that goes right down below it, or pretty close to it. I'm going to open that tie up. Now you probably can't see, but I'm opening it up, and I'm just laying it right between those 2 ties, okay? Then I'm going to take a zip tie. Once again, this is optional. Usually I have the zip ties in your kits, but this is optional. You could just go ahead and tie it off with those twist ties, or you can do what I'm doing, and you can use a zip tie just to hold that in there real good for you. So let's go ahead and snip that off, and I'm also going to cut off the excess of that expandable mesh. Absolutely love this. It's going to be so stinking beautiful with this sign. Let me go ahead and take this sign out of the paper here. And I'll just set it over here so you can kind of see what we're getting ready to do here. And you can see how it's all going to come together. It's going to be beautiful. All right, now I'm going to open this tie over here. I'm going to take this expandable mesh, and I'm going to go over top of that poof. All right, go over top of it, bring it down, and then just tie it off. All right, just tie it off. Now, one thing I love about this expandable mesh, see what it does? And with this bee wreath, this is absolutely gorgeous because it kind of looks like a honeycomb, you know? Kind of looks like that honeycomb effect. So I'm going to do the same thing here. Open that tie up, and then I'm going to take this expandable mesh, okay? Make sure you don't get it twisted. And then I'm going to go over top of that poof and just tie it off, expand it out, okay? Come back over, open that tie. Make sure it's not twisted or anything in there. I'm just going to go over top of that poof. It's laying on top of the poof, okay? Now, if you feel like that your poofs are too big, you can just go ahead and even pull that down a little bit more, because you want to make sure that as you're doing this, that your overlay is the same height pretty much all the way around and even on the sides, okay? Now I'm going to do it one more time. Open up that tie. Here's the poof, right? Going to take this overlay, make sure that it's not twisted. gather it, go over top of that poof, and then tie it off, and then just spread it out. Now, if you're just using a 10-inch regular mesh, obviously you would not be expanding it out. That mesh would just go over top. Sorry about that, guys. That mesh would just go over top of that poof, and you just continue on around and around the bottom. Now, if you want to see this again, you can go to my 10 steps on how to make a Deco Poly Mesh Wreath on my YouTube channel, Crafty Max LLC, and you'll see step by step how I do this. Now, I'll be right back, guys, after I finish with the overlay, and I'll come back and show you how to do your curls. Okay, friends, I finished with the overlay. Isn't that just so stinking cute? It looks like a honeycomb. I absolutely love this method. Now, I'm going to show you the next step will be adding the curls. Now, let me go ahead and show you how to make your curls. Now, I've already got the mesh cut up in 10-inch strips, the white, the yellow, and the black. Now, I'm going to go ahead and roll it. I kind of fold over my curl a little bit like that, my mesh like that, and then I just start rolling gently and loosely. And I'm using my bow dabber just to hold my curl in place for me, just because it's hard for me to hold them in my hands with my arthritis going on. So we're just rolling, folding just a little bit, then just rolling and trying to make sure that the ends are kind of even. You want to try to make sure the ends are kind of even. You want to crisscross 2 of them. Put the 3rd one in the center. All right. Then I'm going to take a chip clip and I'm just going to clip them together. I got those chip clips from the Dollar Tree. You can even use Chanel stems if you want. Once again, we're just going to fold that mesh over, making sure the ends kind of line up, and then just rolling loosely. You don't want it to be so tight that it looks like a bad curl. That wouldn't be good. Bad perms don't look good, so you don't want to do that. So you're just folding it over, rolling gently, kind of loosely, all right? Just put them in there, and we're going to do this one more time. And I'm making 18 of these bundles. Now remember, the white, the black, and the yellow is cut at 10 inches each. And for this recipe number 1, you will need 18 each of the colors for 18 curl bundles, okay? 18 curl bundles. Now let me go ahead and show you how to put those in your wreath. Now up at the top, I like to start at the top. Now when I'm adding my curls, I do go ahead and open up that tab. And I like to go vertical on the top instead of horizontal. Vertical on the top. So I place those in right on top of this mesh and then just tie it off. I tie it off twice. And then I kind of just lift those curls up a little bit just so they look real sweet like, you know. Let's go ahead and grab another one. Okay. Open the tie. And remember, we're putting them in every tie. That's why you're going to need 18 bundles of these. It's going to give your wreath a nice full look. It's going to give it a lot of dimension. It's just going to be so pretty. Look how pretty that is already. Let's go ahead and add one more. And I'm going to show you what to do on the bottom. Okay, let's add this one. Add this one right here. Tie it off. I tie it off twice. That's just what I do. You don't necessarily have to do that. Now, one thing you want to look out for is to make sure that in between each curl that your poof is still up and your overlay as well. Okay, so there's that. Now when I come down to the bottom, guys, all I do is switch it. Instead of going vertical, I go horizontal with my curls. Okay. Open that tie. See how that tie is opened? And I'm going to go horizontal. And I like to push it in down here at the bottom. That way, they kind of, I don't know, it looks real sweet, like they're inset a little bit. Look how pretty that is. Let's do it one more time. Take these curls. I'm going to open that tie. And you don't have to yank it wide open, just a little bit so that you can get those curls in there, all right? Now, if you see that your mesh is coming down a little bit, you can always pull it back up. Once again, make sure that the poofs are still up in between the curls. All right, look how pretty. Just look how pretty that's going to be. Now I'm going to go ahead and finish the curls, and then I'll bring you back for to add the ribbons. Okay friends, we got all of the curls in. Now look how gorgeous and full this wreath is with just the curls. Now let me tell you friends, if you didn't even add ribbons and you just added a sign, it would be gorgeous. Or even if you didn't add a sign and you just wanted to add some ribbons and a big nice bow, that would be gorgeous as well. But I'm just going to show you this because this is part of recipe number 1 for my wreath kits, okay friends? Now, as I said, the B ribbon is your funky bow ribbon, and it's cut at 24 inches and you'll need 9 each. 24 inches and you will need 9 each. Your ribbon tails are cut at 13 inches and you need 9 each. 13 inches and you need 9 each. Now remember, with recipe number 1, you can do this technique with a Christmas wreath, a Valentine's Day wreath, no matter what it is, or just an everyday wreath, okay? Now let me go ahead and show you how to add your ribbons, and we're going to start with this gorgeous, gorgeous funky bow ribbon, okay? Now, actually, friends, before we put our ribbons on, we're going to go ahead and we're going to add this gorgeous sign. Sweet as can be. Sweet as can be, friends. This is what we're going to do. We're going to go ahead and add the gorgeous sign. Now, in your kit, you should also have some chenille stems and your zip ties. All right, we're just going to put those aside for now. I don't mean to be reaching over the camera. Now, how I'm going to attach this sign. This is an aluminum sign. I'm going to use my Euro punch that I picked up from, it was either Walmart or Michael's or Hobby Lobby. You can order them on Amazon as well. This is a Euro punch, and it's a 1.80 mm. 1.80 mm. I'm going to punch a hole in the top, the bottom, and on each side. Now just find the center of your sign as best as you can. Okay. I'm going to punch a small hole in it. I'm going to come down here and do the same. I like to do the top and then the bottom. That way I can see. There we go. Now coming over here and on the sides. Punch a hole here. I'm going to come over on the other side and punch another hole. There we go. Yeah, we probably want to put the sign on. I usually put the sign on before I add my ribbons. So now I'm just going to take those 4 chenille stems that you have in your wreath kit, and I'm just going to put it right through that sign and just twist it off. Now I use chenille stems. You can use wire if you want, or you can even put cable ties on the back of your sign if you want. I just like to use a coordinating color chenille stem. I figure, you know, one thing, it could just look like an embellishment on the sign. So as long as you have a color that matches your sign, you will be good to go. See that there? You really can hardly even tell that that is even on there. Okay. So once again, we're just going through those holes. 4 of those holes, okay. 4 of those holes here. And let's do this one. Right here. Just like that. Now, I'm going to take my wreath and I'm going to look to see where maybe I want to add this. It looks gorgeous no matter where I go with this. It's so, so pretty. Now, I'm just going to move those curls out of my way. See how I'm just pushing out a little bit with the sign, taking my hand and pulling those curls back. Now, remember, I did say that if I'm going too quick here for you on this recipe number 1, you can go over to my YouTube channel and watch the recipes, my 10 steps on how to make a Deco Poly Mesh Wreath. I break it down step by step so you don't have to watch everything. Now I place it in the center. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to pull this back to me, this wreath back to me, just to make sure that sign is straight in center, and it is. It looks gorgeous in there. Now I'm going to take that 1 chenille stem. I'm going to go straight down. Right there it is. I'm going to go straight down, reaching underneath my wreath. I'm going right through the mesh, but not the curls, in case I want to move those gorgeous curls out of the way. All right. I am going to hold that sign right there where that chenille stem is while I'm pulling on that chenille stem. Okay. Now if you have to adjust your sign, like that one just slipped a little bit, so I'm going to pull it back up just a little. Okay. Oops, it kind of slipped right there. Let me just bring it back up and through. I know you can't see what I'm doing underneath here, and I will show you in just as soon as I get maybe 3 or 4 of these already attached. Here we go. Bring it up. Here we are. Okay, here we go. Here we are. Perfect. Perfect, perfect. Now I'm tying it off. Tying it off underneath. And this is one of the reasons why I use zip ties and things like that, because of the arthritis in my hands. If you have problems with that, zip tying your mesh in and things like that might help a little bit. If not, you can just, do whatever you want. Now, since that slipped, I'm going to bring it back towards me one more time before I attach that chenille stem on the bottom. Boy, that looks so gorgeous. I'm telling you, friends, that is so... I love, love, love this wreath. I love the colors on this. Everything about this I love. So I'm going straight through the mesh, but not my curls. Now you can see how I kind of smushed that a little bit. I will fix that. That's one of the things you want to look for, that is kind of concaved in a little bit. Now I'm going to hold the bottom of that sign while I'm pulling on that chenille stem. All right. Then I'm going to tie it off right underneath. Tie it off underneath, friends. Look how pretty that is. Oh, Lord Jesus, I just love this. And that is a Crafty Max sign. And I will probably have that for sale maybe in a couple of months on my Etsy shop, friends. That is a gorgeous, gorgeous sign. And I'll probably have that available in a 10-inch round as well. All right, there's that one. Now let's go ahead and go to the sides. Going to do the same thing. Going to go straight down, reaching underneath to grab that chenille stem. Now you can attach it however you want. This is just the way I do it. Now I'm going to hold that sign while I'm pulling on that chenille stem so I don't sink that sign into my wreath. I do like my signs inset a little bit, but I don't like them sunken in too much. I hope that makes sense. But now it's personal preference as well. Some people like their signs floating on the top. They don't like any curls nestled around the sign. But I prefer that myself. Okay, coming over here doing this one. Lift that up just a little bit. Okay, now going straight down. Straight down with that chenille stem. Straight down with that chenille stem. Going to go ahead and wrap it around, and I'm going to show you what I'm doing here. Okay. Now, right here, see where that chenille stem is? I'm going to wrap it right around that bar where it hits. If you do that on all 4 of those chenille stems, when you get to this point, your sign should be pretty straight. Your sign should be pretty straight, okay? Wrapping it around, wrapping it around. And that sign's not going to come off. Look how nice and tight that sign is. It is not moving. And that is really important. Because at this point, if you lift up on that, see, that is not moving at all. Now, there you go, friends. Now we have this gorgeous, sorry about the glare of the lights, gorgeous sign on there. Now we're going to add the ribbons. Now, I like to start up at the top when I add my ribbons. And I like to just fold my ribbons over. And then I like about a 5-inch loop. So you can measure. You can go over to your measuring mat and just measure. That's a 5-inch loop. You can do 4.5, 5 inches, whatever you want. Now I like to twist that ribbon over to the side so that you can see both those beautiful prints. And then just make sure you move your loop. Now remember, I do have how to attach your ribbon and add your ribbon into your wreath on my 10 steps on how to make a Deco Mesh Wreath. I take that tie and I just wrap it around the back of that loop. Fan out that loop, fan out your ribbon tails, And look how gorgeous that is. I love it. Okay, let me go ahead and show you how to do your ribbon tails. Now you want to alternate between your funky bow ribbon and your ribbon tails. All right. Now if your twist tie is way down here and your ties are long enough, you can always twist them just a little bit to bring up your ribbons, because I'm not a fan of my ribbons being underneath my sign. Okay. Now I'm just going to fan those out. Just take them, kind of fan them out, and I kind of just curl them a little bit with my hands. Look how pretty, pretty, pretty. All right, now we're going to do another funky bow ribbon. Here we go. Fold it over. I don't know what's on my hand here. And measure about 5 inches to get that 5-inch loop. And I just kind of fluff her out a little bit. Twist that tail around. All right, move that loop around so they all line up. See how pretty that is? Come over here. I'm going to twist that just a little bit there. I'm going to bring that twist tie around the back of that loop. Fluff the loop out and fan out those ribbon tails on it just a little bit. Let's do the ribbon tails one more time. Remember, the funky bow ribbons cut at 24 inches and the ribbon tails are cut at 13. Ribbon tails are cut at 13. Okay, one more time. I'm just laying it in that tie and twisting it, tying it off about 2 times. Okay, just fan them out. There we go. Now, that's what we have so far. Now I'm going to go ahead and finish the ribbons, and then I'll be right back to show you how to put in your tubing and embellishments. Okay, friends, now we have all the ribbons on, and look how gorgeous. Look how gorgeous this is. It is so, so pretty. And it's nice and full. Now, this is a big wreath. This is about 27, let's see here, about 28 inches round. Now, the next step is for this wreath kit tutorial, recipe number 1. I'm going to add the tubing. You should have tubing for the most part in your kits if you have the technique of recipe number 1. So once again, I'm going to show you how to add your tubing. And this is gorgeous, gorgeous tubing, friends. This is jute tubing, and I love the richness of the color of the yellow and the black together. So basically all I'm going to do, friends, I'm going to just line them up, and then I'm just going to kind of hold it in my hand, just wrap it around a little bit and make a loop on each side, and I kind of just give it a little twist in the center. And basically all you do is you add those to your ribbon tails. Not where your funky bow ribbon is, but where your ribbon tails are. I untie that one time if the tie is a little short, but if not, I'll just go ahead and add it. And I kind of lift up the tubing a little bit, and as you can see, it just really adds a little bit of embellishment to your wreath, gives it a little bit more dimension, which I absolutely love. And usually I do about 15 inches, but I'm thinking lately I've been using a little bit more. Let me measure the next one that I do. So you guys know you should have plenty in your wreath kits, because we've been adding enough tubing for 10 ties instead of 9, just to make sure you have more. Yeah, that is about 18 inches. So instead of 15 inches, if you want them nice and long, you should have plenty of tubing to make them a little bit, maybe around 18 inches. And I'm going to change that on the wreath kit instructions as well. So about 18 inches for those, friends. But it's so, so pretty. So pretty. All right, now we're just going to go around, and I'm going to go ahead and add the rest of the tubing, and I will bring you back to add the little bit of embellishments that we have. Okay, friends? I'll see you soon. Okay, this is what we have now with the tubing. Isn't that gorgeous with the tubing in there? Just that little bit. It's almost like the sprinkles on the cupcakes, friends. It's almost like the sprinkles on the cupcakes. It's just so pretty with that yellow and that corn yellow look there. I absolutely love it. Now, in the kits, sometimes you will have embellishments depending on what they are, friends, you can use them or not. If you don't have round embellishments, you may have flowers or whatever. You can just add them wherever you need them. Be uniquely you, make it your own. Add them where you think you need to do it. Now, what would be really cute with this wreath, if you have some daisies, that you have on hand, you could put one up here at the top left and then the bottom right corner, and then you could add some of these round ornaments, or I should say spray. These just remind me of a bumblebee so much, and I've got to add them. I've got to add them, so I'm thinking I'm going to use this one here, maybe. Love that. And I'm just going to go ahead and add some hot glue. And I'm going to twist that right on top of that twist tie. Now, you don't need to add these if you don't want to. But look how cute that is. Look how cute that is, friends. You can use the bumblebee one, maybe down here in the bottom. But I think I'm going to use the black one. Now, these are glittery, but they are stinking cute, stinking adorable. I'm going to add that one down here. But I think I'm just going to hold off before I put any more. I will add the rest of these, but what I'm going to do, and I hope you do the same, go and get yourself some daisies to put in here as well. That would be so pretty. But let me bring you up so you can take a look. Sorry, friends. Hey, hi. Here we go, friends. This is what we have. Now, as you can see, that one little ornament there, embellishment, I probably will take that one off because I think that that daisy, those daisy florals would look really, really pretty right there. Isn't this so cute? I love it, love it, love it. So there you go, friends. This is how you make a completed wreath using my wreath kit, using recipe number 1. Recipe number 1, you can use this same technique if you're doing a Valentine's Day one, Easter one, spring, summer, Christmas, Halloween, fall. It does not matter what ribbons you have, as long as you cut them the same length. And when you get my wreath kits, the wreath kit instruction sheet will say, go to recipe number 1, number 2, number 3, number 4, number 5. I think I have 5 at this point. I may have more in the future, but there you go, friends. Thank y'all so much for being here with me. I really appreciate it. Y'all have a blessed day or a blessed night. Bye, guys.